Hello and welcome to another LEGO Train MOC Showcase video. This is the LMS Fury. People that have been subscribed to my channel for over a year now might recognize this. This is technically a rebuild, and this is a favorite of mine. I'm gonna have to make sure I keep it this time, especially now that I've added lining. So last year when I was making 7-wide models for the first time, there were a few that stuck out to me. And my fourth 7-wide model was the LMS Fury. Looking back at that video and seeing how I've built it today, it's amazing to see that, yes, it's quite similar, but there are things I've done differently to improve upon the model. It's just so cool to look back at something that you've rebuilt. There are some differences in details from this model to the previous, but then again, there really isn't that much difference either. There are some smaller differences like the colour of the cylinders I've got here, a few details between the wheels, and just a few other odd small bricks I've got here and there to represent some of the details across the main locomotive. Now, sadly, there should be a lot more, but they're so tiny and so delicate when you look at the real thing. If I was going to add a bunch of Lego bricks onto this, it would either overwhelm the model or just wouldn't be accurate. So sadly, I'm limited to this. I love the overall look of Fury's boiler. It looks so intimidating and the silhouette is just really cool. That massive firebox is something to really behold because it's so different. You wouldn't ever think to see a firebox that massive. Something I did on the previous model, and I did the same thing here, but I nearly didn't. I'm using 2XL size drivers, but that's mainly because I can get the cylinders in. I was going to go one size smaller, but it would lose the charm of the overall massiveness and the fury of this model. I think it just looks really cool. One thing I did for this model that I didn't do for the previous was add trimline tape. I have yellow going across the running board. I have some numbers on the side of the cab wall. And I'm also using it to cheat a little bit as well. So making bricklink quarters is one thing, but if you don't find bricks or if you don't remember to get bricks from certain stores, there are times where you're going to have to make do. So I've got some circle and rectangular bricks being put together and kind of hidden with some red trimline tape to capture this detail here. It's not a bad thing, but when you look close enough, you can definitely tell that's being hidden with trimline tape. I don't discourage this, but at the same time, if you can get the bricks and do it properly, just do it that way. Speaking of the numbers that are on the side of the cab, I only just got away with this. I nearly, as you can see there, I very nearly didn't manage to get all those numbers on. The yellow lining I was using for the walls here, and I would use the same thickness on the tender, was just a bit too thick. I did the lining first, then I added the numbers. I had to move the lines around just a little bit and even reapply them. But again, only just on there, but it's still on there. The tender looks very different to how it did last time. The overall build quality is better. I've got some new and improved details going on for the wheels, and of course the lining. It's so magnificent, again, comparing things to what you made now to how it was made previously. But then again, the tender is a bit weird for me on the Fury. When you look at the real thing, it's really short. And for my Lego model, it doesn't really represent that. But to me, this still looks like a standard LMS tender. And yeah, I mean, it looks nice, but I wish it was just a bit shorter. The LMS Fury is an experimental locomotive, and I encourage you to have a look at its history because it is really fascinating. This model is a smooth runner. It's obviously very heavy, but I love how this looks. I'm also going to be interested to see how this looks in action behind my coronation coaches. Because they're both LMS, they should line up very nicely. I'm so happy to have this model back in my collection because it was a favourite of mine, and building this again was a lot of fun. And there we go, that is it for this mock showcase video. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Also at the top of the description is a link to my Discord server. There are over 100 members having some amazing conversations, and the interactions are just amazing. If you want to have a chat with other subscribers, then head over to the Discord server today. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.